Hey, we've got plenty to talk about with my brother from another mother. My mum always loves when I say that, but still. Darren Barnett, lovely. I'm sure your mum do too. And of course...
Can I just say my dad heard your editorial last night, said, I agreed with every word.
Yeah, good on you, Dad.
And he's Kevin.
Yeah, good on you, Kev.
Kevin used to have a Mustang when I was young.
Yes,
He'll be watching now.
Shout out, Kev.
But
Good
I
on you,
reckon
brother.
he's a bit of a swing voter, but he's like...
He loves me.
He was on. He's on.
He knows. All right. And of course, M.Canavan, we'll get into what his parents think and family in a second. But of course, he joins us from the home studio there in North Queensland. Great man. Lovely to see you. So we saw the quotes with Shari before, which was put simply, if the Libs end up keeping net zero, then the quote attributed to you is that the coalition has to break up and Nats have to go their own way. That's true in your mind? That is the quote that you gave and that is your view of what's next?
Well, fundamentally, Paul, I think the Australian people deserve a say on this. They've never been given a choice on net zero. Both political parties signed up to it outside of an election. Everywhere in the Western world where net zero has faced proper competition at the ballot box, it has failed. Why shouldn't the Australian people have the same choice as well? And so, look, it'll be a matter for the National Party room to come to its position. My position is very clear, and I'm also putting my position here that, look, if it comes to the position where the two parties can't agree on such an important policy, then let's let the people decide. Let's take two different views to the public and see what happens. We know from a recent poll just last week that our supporters of the coalition of Liberal parties, want us to drop net zero to the tune of 54 to 24. It's an absolute drubbing on that front. Over in the broader public, support for net zero is now at net zero. It is a dead heat between support for and against net zero, and that's after months of campaigning from myself, from the likes of Barnaby Joyce and others since the election to point out the flaws of this policy. We're only really getting started. I don't think the Australian people have fully yet understood what this policy entails, the radical proposition it is, and the fact that the net zero emperor really has no clothes. And as soon as a major political party has the guts to point that out, I think a whole lot of the net zero facade is going to fall over.
So Parliament's back next week. Presumably there's an opportunity for everyone to sit around a room. Why can't there be a show of hands around the National Party room as early as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week?
Mate, I've been wanting this for 4 years. For 4 years, I've been saying, let's have a debate. I mean, it is hard to fathom, but it is true that in the Liberal and National Party room in Canberra, we have never had a debate on net zero. It was forced upon the Liberal Party by Scott Morrison. There was a debate with the Nationals Party room, but we had that debate with a gun held to our head because Scott Morrison said, if you don't agree with us, you're out of the coalition, you'll lose your ministries, we'll split the government up. And so we've never had an open and honest and frank debate across the Liberal and National parties about whether we should completely change how we do everything in a generation, how we grow our food, how we make things, how we travel around to see our family and relatives. Everything, what food we eat, everything has to change to meet this ridiculous, fantastical target of net zero in just one generation, just 25 years away. Why aren't we having that debate? What is it that's so sacrosanct about this policy? I mean, we can have debates about all different types of things, about gay marriage, about aged care policy. We had a heated debate about that, but we can't apparently debate this. People's jobs are on the line here. People's livelihoods are on the line. My area, my local beautiful Australian landscape is being decimated right now. I was just out this last week with Barnaby Joyce with some people who are facing massive big battery parks going into farmland. It is absurd, and we're not allowed to debate these things in Canberra, apparently. That is what is the most absurd thing. And yes, I'd love to see that next week, Paul. I would have wanted it 4 years ago, but better tomorrow than in another year's time.
Yeah, forgive me, Darren, but I've got to use the opportunity here. And also, I really want to thank the Senator too. A lot of people knocking on his door today. He said, no, wait, I'll be on with Paul tonight. I really appreciate that, Matt, and love you for it. But let's imagine there was a meeting and the room decided to stick with it. What next potentially for you or other people who are as public as you are about where the Nationals, forget the coalition, but where the Nationals should be on this?
Well, I've said, Paul, it's Nats or bust for me. Right. I'm loyal to my party. I'm loyal to the members that have put me here. And you've got to recognise that a party is not really some amorphous blob. It's a collection of good, hardworking, honest people, and I always feel incredibly honoured and privileged for them to have given me their trust to represent them in the nation's parliament. So, and I believe I'm trying to work and fight on their behalf, given that every state's had a Liberal or National Party now on the mainland that's voted comprehensively against net zero. So I'm trying to return that faith by fighting for it in Canberra. But if I fail, I can only do my best, but if I fail, that's that. It'll be over to someone else and next man up. Good luck to other people. But I've got to stay loyal to those party members, and I'll do so within my own party.
Good stuff. Well said. All right, let's go speed round for everything else, because there is an awful lot of other things on the table, including Darren, as a man who is fluent in the language of the left, not the far left, not the crazy left, not the rock throwers, right? But still, what is the calculation Jacinta Allen keeps making that on something as easy as this, as identifiable as this, as fringe as people throwing rocks, that you can't come out and be as annoyed as the police officers who are having rocks thrown at them?
Well, the other thing that's bizarre is that you have the Commissioner saying, no, we don't need permits, when the Police Association are calling for it.
100%.
Even if you do it as a trial, you've got to be seen to be cracking down. And the laws that are, they're going to introduce should have been introduced already. There should already be limits on, wearing masks or chaining yourself or gluing yourself. You shouldn't be allowed to do that now. So they need to take control of the issue and try something, and that needs to be permits, because part of the problem, as you know, of the left, but the problem yesterday through the policeman who spoke publicly, that this was not the flag-waving anti-immigration protesters. This was ratbag professional protesters who interfered with a rally that, whether you agree with it, was peaceful, and threw rocks at the cops. So you've got to have permits, you've got to have minimum standards to protest, and if you don't, then throw the book at you. But at the moment, it's very ad hoc in what you can and can't do. Adopt the national standard, go for permits. Otherwise, this issue will just bleed and bleed and bleed, and she won't be able to stop it.
Well, we'll see. She's still up in the polls right now, and there's been plenty of other examples that I thought would have been the straw that breaks the camel's back, but we'll all see together. Let's get to the Trump meeting. 2 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Do your sums where you are around the country, if not in that time zone. Will you be sitting up waiting to watch for a Zelensky-esque moment, Senator? Or like me, it ain't happening.
I hadn't done that calculation, Paul, but no, I don't think I'll be changing my alarm. We'll see what the morning brings, but... look, it's good finally that we're having this meeting. It's almost been a year since President Trump. In a couple of weeks, it'll be a year since he was elected. So, look, it's very strange it's taken this long. I hope all our diplomats and Kevin Rudd have done a good preparation here and sold a good message, because we need a good outcome for our country. And that was shown so demonstrably today with the news that once again, a Chinese fighter jet has put Australian Defence Force personnel at danger with dangerous behaviour. And I just think sometimes the current government just gets its positioning wrong on this, almost suggesting we can somehow trust China and we've got to treat China almost on an equal level to Americans. I think that sends the wrong message. We've got to stay close to our friends.
Yeah.
Okay, very quickly, I think it's a really good opportunity for the Prime Minister. They'll talk about AUKUS, they'll talk about critical minerals, particularly with China trying to close that outbound trade. I think it'll be a positive meeting. I think it's also choreographed that it's going to be a very positive meeting.
Darren, I just got a message from one of my colleagues in Canberra, Matt, which is to ask you quite specifically about Barnaby Joyce, right? Now, obviously, I thought we sort of went there, right? I thought but let's be really clear. What is your reaction to the position of a former Deputy Prime Minister, a friend of yours, who says, I'm done at the end of this election and presumably done with the Nats either earlier, but certainly at that moment?
Well, look, I'm incredibly disappointed, but I would make the case that Barnaby said he's a free agent, and that means there's still some hope that we keep him in the team. I mean, Barnaby is the GOAT when it comes to retail politics, and if you're managing a soccer club and Ronaldo's about to walk out the door, you do everything you can to keep him. And I think we should do everything we can to keep him. As I've said since the election, I think it's disappointing that we haven't found more scope to use the skills and experience of our former leaders, Michael McCormack included. And so I hope David Littleproud can take up the mantle here and find something for Barnaby, find a way to use his obvious skills and talents in our room and keep us all together.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. There you go, Tommy. Nice and clean. All right. Thank you very much to you, Senator, future Senator, should you wish. You've got the connections. We'll talk to you all again very, very soon. All right. Quick break. Back with more Off the London and Mark Dolan, our mate there.